What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Making Men. My name is Isaiah, and you already probably know that, but if you don't and you're new here, then hey, welcome to the podcast. This is the first episode of 2024, which I'm really excited for because this means that we're going to have so much fun this year, and we got a lot to look forward to. I have a lot of cool episodes coming up. I've been taking a break for a little while, but hey, I'm back now, actually recording episodes. I've been uploading and posting episodes that I previously recorded, but I'm back now and I'm motivated and I'm excited and I'm fresh and I'm ready to start. And today we're going to ride the heels. We're going to ride on the bumper of exactly that topic, what we talked about last time, killing it ahead of time, doing a lot of work ahead of time and a lot of grunt and grind work to be able to just rest and relax and clear out your own internal operating system, close all the apps, close all the tabs, just have some peace and quiet. And we're going to get right into talking about something that I have found very much interesting in my own life. This is a topic that I've had a lot of people with very similar personality types, and they've all wanted to know, hey, how do I get back on my grind after I've dealt with some sort of feeling a lack of creativity and motivation, or just feeling a lack of creativity inside? And so I want to talk about that because I was also listening to a podcast episode, one of my own recently, where, and I don't like just listen to my own episodes. I was going through looking at some of my best episodes and some of my favorite episodes from the past because I look through these things and I'm analyzing metrics and data all the time. But I was looking through and I found one of these episodes that I really liked, and listening to it, I was like, oh, this is so adorable, because my voice still hadn't really dropped. I was in this room recording it, but it was like just holding the phone up to my hand, or up to my mouth with my hand. And I was walking kind of in circles, and you could just tell it was like the content was good, but the delivery wasn't so great, and the quality was also really beginner. But I love that because it's like, oh man, look at how long ago I started this. I've been doing this for like almost 4 years now, and everything's just getting better. My presentation's getting better. And so I want to bring that episode back, and I want to bring that content back because the heart and the message was really there and was really behind the episode. So yeah, I'm honestly inspired listening back to that episode because I could hear the heart and the message in there. But it takes a lot of grit sometimes to be a constantly creative person. I even was asked about it. And so in asking the question, hey, have you ever dealt with creative burnout? In being asked the question, have you ever dealt with creative burnout? And how do you deal with it if you have? I gave an answer pretty quickly to one of these folks, but I just keep thinking about it because I'm like, there's so many other aspects and nuances and things that can go into this that make it such a rich and complex topic. And really, I think that's only reason that it's so rich and complex is because it's literally just our entire life's purpose that we're just trying to figure out. And that's difficult. It's easy to say, I know that I am a child of God, I am a son of God, but then we have to say, all right, what do I do with this great life you gave me, God? And we have to spend our entire life figuring that out, or at least a good portion of life figuring that out. And we spend a lot of time in school. We spend a lot of time learning about history and the basics that other people have already discovered about the world so that we can go into the world with some general basic understanding. But also, we don't spend any time working on our own passions, our own desires, our own things that we have that we want to do in our unique missions. We're so busy focused on learning about other stuff that we never have time to learn about ourselves. And so really that's one of the really big problems. And then, you got like propaganda and all sorts of crazy brainwashing and stuff inside of schools these days. But so we need to figure out about ourselves. What are we doing on this earth? Why are we here? Why are we alive? And what does our creativity have to do with that? Because I see these people, and the reason that they're kind of flailing around here, they're not able to really stick with something or like latch onto it. They started stuff, maybe they're even completing it, but they're not feeling it. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, no one feels it all the time. I don't feel it all the time. There are plenty of times where I'm like, it just kind of becomes work after a while when you have to create something and you are supposed to be creating something consistently. And that's okay. That's not bad. That's good because it also applies pressure so that you do continue staying creating, but also you can get burned out from it and you can just become kind of like, I'm a little bored of this. I don't really want to do this anymore. Taking a break from podcasting was super helpful for me. Recording, I did a bunch of grunt work, uploaded, edited, everything. And then I was just able to chill out, go have some fun experiences with family and friends, and just live my life without having to think about the online world for a while in this aspect. I did other stuff. But I always try and tie this back to our main cause. In that episode, by the way, I don't actually know if I mentioned this. That episode was called Fluidity. So it's just the state where we build up momentum and then we get a high from it. That's just getting that high from doing what we love. So I would compare it to motivation, but I actually believe it's different than motivation, because motivation is kind of like, yeah, I'm loving this. This is awesome. This is great. And fluidity is kind of like this internal confidence that you have in yourself when you get into this flow state and when you're doing this thing and you're getting better at it. That is fluidity, and that is confidence, and not just motivation, which is derived from a need we have or something we perceive we need, and then we go for it, and when we're getting it, it feels great, and that's motivation. It's just that dopamine that is like, hey, you're achieving this, you're achieving this, you're achieving. And we like that feeling, and that's a great feeling to have, but it's different than fluidity, which is where it's a little more rugged, it's a little more intense, it's less likely to fade as well, which is great. We want that. But in order to get into that state, which just, it feels so good, by the way, it's great, I love it. It's like, it sparks motivation, and it's one of the ways we get motivation. But we have to find, what is it we love doing? What is it that we are doing? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? Some of us are naturally more creative. Others of us are not as creative in the arts sense, but there are plenty of other things that God created that I still consider creative and as creativity that I think other people should as well. But whatever it is we're doing, we need to make sure that it ties back to our main cause. What is a main cause? Main cause is, it's not like I want to build the tallest skyscraper in the world. It's, why do I want to build the tallest skyscraper in the world? What impact will building the tallest skyscraper in the world have on the world? Why is it important? What does it prove? What is it telling people? And that is the main cause, not just the thing that you want to do. You want to build the skyscraper, but you have your main cause where it's like, why am I actually building this? Why am I actually building this? What do I want from this as an effect, as the effect, and as an outcome? So that's what it is. So for me, my main cause is to inspire people to become curious about Christ and what he can do to transform their lives. So everything I do is from a place of, how can I create curiosity inside of people? How can I inspire people to want to learn more about this thing that is so amazing that I've discovered and that I believe is the best thing I could ever tell someone about? How can I get people to be interested in that and intrigued by this? Because it's so different from anything I've found on this earth. We're talking all about trying to discover ourselves and find ourselves and have this creativity, and we're trying to like pull these things out of us that are creative, but we don't know where we're pulling them from. Or maybe we're just burnt out from pulling it from that place. There's nothing left from that place to pull out anymore. And so we need to find a new place, or we can find a place. And I'm not saying that these people who I've been talking to, who I've had these conversations with, or other people or you listening aren't doing this, but pulling it from a place where you're going to get a lot more motivation because you're pulling it from a place of the Bible. That's really important. And you don't always need a ton of that you can have like one little pull for one thing, pulling out of you like one little piece of something, and that becomes one song or one book. But why do we need a main cause? What is your main cause? So find out for yourself, what is your defining main cause? As one statement, what are you here to do? And we have a lot of help with this. There's a lot of stuff that can help us with this inside of the biblical world, inside of the, I don't want to say the religious world, but just inside of the world of being a follower of Christ. There are people who can help with that, and people who have thought about this, because it's not lost on anyone that this is a large thought. So many people have thought about this stuff before. So there's plenty of stuff out there. Nothing new under the sun, just like Solomon said. Yeah. So in light of the fact that it was just Christmas, and in light of the fact that this is something that isn't just for Christmas time, but this applies to every single day of our lives, the rest of our lives, for the rest of eternity, where do we draw our inspiration for picking our main desire? I believe we should draw it from Christ. And a lot of people are actually really good at doing that. And a lot of us are doing that already. But we might need to just get a little more clarity on it and a little more like, oh, I understand this. That's where this is. And it helps us to be able to say, here is my main thing. Here is my main cause of exactly what I'm doing with my life. And keeping it in, if you're able to do this, I understand not everyone is, but if you keep it in sort of that abstract, it's not physically doing something as my main cause, but it's maybe inspiring something as my main cause, then that can apply to multiple different areas. So for me, music, writing, podcasting, content creation, all of those things that I'm doing are coming from this same space, coming from the exact same source. I want to inspire other people to be curious and to feel fulfilled when they come and approach Christ, because we live in a world where there's a lot of not that happening. Most people don't understand what it means to be a follower of Christ. It's earned a bad rap and a bad reputation. And there's just a lot of misconception about what it truly means because it's lost on all of us. Satan's doing his best to try and confuse everybody about what it actually means to be a follower of Christ. So if we can create curiosity coming from a place of real relationship with Christ and presenting Christ for who he actually is himself and giving him space to be himself, then inside of our work, then we can really bring people in and show them that. And that to me is the most important thing ever. Like, that's what I'm here to do with my life. He created me so that I can go live my life, love my life, have a relationship with him because he wants a relationship with me first. And I'm just like, heck yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. Let me go tell everyone else about this. So that's my main cause. But no matter what, so that is our hope, our motivation. And I even talked about this in my actual Christmas episode. What do we have? I was talking about this episode in regards while I was recording that episode, and we have hope. We have hope in the form of a baby in a manger who gave up his life in heaven to come down to a broken, dirty world as a helpless infant to live among his own creation, his own people that he created, who eventually were going to kill him. And he did all of this for their sakes, for our sakes. And that's the very baseline thing inside of Christianity, but it goes so much farther beyond that. That's become our basic understanding of Christianity. Christ came to die for your sins. And that's important because without understanding that, we don't understand why we should have a relationship with Christ at all. But now, let's actually work on creating that relationship. We spend the rest of our lives doing that. We spend the rest of our time doing that. Our relationships with other people, our work, all of that comes from this place of cultivating this relationship with Christ, with Jesus. And so that's what fluidity is. And that's our hope. It's our motivation. It's what we use to fuel the fire of fluidity inside of our lives to help us flow through the rough patches, the hard patches, the shaky areas, the difficult relationships. That's where we get this motivation from and this ability to continue on. It's from this state of confidence and growing fluidity, which inspires motivation. But now we can actually say, all right, I'm working through this and it's awesome. So no matter what happens to us, it's still there because it's not going away. Our main cause is our main cause. Nothing about the world, nothing about us, nothing about other people changes that cause. And that's beautiful because now we can say we have something to resort back to every single time we're having a difficulty. And if we remember this thing, and I would even say like, okay, let's have a couple things even. Let's explore this idea a little bit. I'm exploring it with you right now as I'm thinking about this. But if we say I have my main cause as to what my purpose is, and I have my main truths that I know about me. We find those in the Bible. So when someone comes at us with insults, we can say, I'm going back to my main cause, and I understand these things about me, and I then understand that these things that this person's saying aren't true. So we can have a lot of different things we just rely on to say like, oh, I'm remembering these things as just my core principles, as my core beliefs, and as my core foundations that I can come back to every single time. Like we even said in that other episode, right? Christ says to build our house on the rock, not in the sand. Because when the storm comes, the house on the sand is going to be washed away. But if we build it on the rock, it'll stay stable and it'll have a firm, stable foundation. All right, that's pretty much it. And I hope that makes sense. I know that didn't really answer the question in the way I originally thought it was going to. Like, why are these people having this difficulty, especially these people who are so similar to each other? I think a lot of that is also just personality. That's just kind of how these people are made. And so that's the journey they have to take to understand themselves in that way and figure out, where do I need to improve my strengths? Where do I need to improve my weaknesses? I have my own. The guy next to me has his own. There's not literally a guy next to me right now. I'm just saying, like, every single one of us have different strengths and weaknesses. And so it's just a journey for us to understand all of these different things and to not lose hope. That's the most important part. We don't want to lose hope. We want our fluidity to be able to flow through these things, to create, to have this motion and this just enjoyment of whatever it is that we're doing, to come from a place that is eternal and that doesn't ever run out. It's living water. It's constantly satisfying our hunger. And we long for eternity and we long for perfection. So ultimately, that's never going to really happen until we're back reunited with Christ inside of our perfect lives. And someday he's going to come and restore the entire world. So there's those elements too. But just ourselves are longing for creation to be whole and to be perfect again. And we're just kind of stuck in the middle between both of those things. We just got to figure that out. And that is the journey of life. So I hope that was helpful for you guys who are having that struggle. Go back to that main idea, that main focus, and say, all right, what is my main focus here? Maybe I'm shifting what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not doing this thing anymore, but I'm using the same main focus, my main cause, and I'm translating that into this creative endeavor or that creative endeavor. Or it could even be like a more businessy type thing. Whatever it is, that's up to you to decide. And that's the beauty of it. So take that and run with it. And I hope that is actually really helpful for you. And hey, I got some cool videos coming up that I'm excited about with some fancier stuff. We'll see. I make no promises, but if I can actually pull it off, then this will be really fun. And I hope you guys will enjoy this one. These couple coming up. There's one of them in here somewhere. So it'll be a surprise for you and it'll be a surprise for me. So stick around for that and I will see you guys in the next episode. All right. Talk to you later.